Here's Mitchell. I think that's a 2. Doesn't go. And now it's McBride getting Hull.
Yeah, that one might be a problem.
Indiana just taking shots to the face.
The Indiana Fever walked into Minnesota looking like a team patched together with duct tape. 5 key players were already sidelined, rotations torn apart, and every possession felt like a test of survival. Caitlin Clark remained out, still nursing that stubborn groin injury. Sophie Cunningham, done for the year. Chloe BBY, Sydney Coulson, Ari McDonald, all unavailable. And then there was Odyssey Sims, gutting it out on one good leg because the roster was that thin and the fight meant that much. But the reward for all that grit? A gut punch straight from the rulebook's darkest corners. Lexi Hull takes an elbow from Kayla McBride, drops to the floor clutching her face, and somehow the whistle goes against Hull. The temperature in the arena spiked. Fans were stunned. And somewhere, Caitlin Clark was no doubt watching, seething, asking the same question every Fever fan has.
Clutching her face, and somehow the whistle lands on Hull. You could feel the temperature in the arena spike. You could practically hear Caitlin Clark, watching, seething, asking the same question as every Fever fan. How does this keep happening?
Context matters. Indiana didn't just come in shorthanded, they arrived gutted. Caitlin Clark has been sidelined for over a month. Sophie Cunningham's season derailed by injury. BB battling a bad knee. Coulson lost to a torn ACL. McDonald shut down with a foot issue. That's essentially an entire starting lineup gone before the ball even goes up. Odyssey Sims was pulled in on a hardship deal, the backup to the backup to the backup point guard, thrust straight from the triage table into live action because there was simply no other choice. This isn't a scheduling quirk. It's survival basketball. And survival comes at a price. Every drive takes extra energy. Every defensive rotation lags a half-beat because these lineups have barely shed the floor. And every mistake is magnified under the unforgiving spotlight of a playoff chase.
And Hull is checking her jaw.
Let's see that one again. Kayla McBride goes up, grabs the board, and she wants to get free because Hull has her kind of wrapped, and boy, that's a hard swing. They're going to review it.
Injuries don't just take away talent, they unravel structure. The Fever's guard and wing depth disappeared almost overnight, forcing Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell to shift from scorers and stoppers into Iron Woman engines. Just 2 nights earlier, also against Minnesota, Hull logged a career-high 37 minutes and dropped 23 points. Not as a spark off the bench, but because there was no safety net, no substitution waiting at the horn. She delivered because she had to. And now she was thrown back into the fire again. That's the reality of this stretch for Indiana. They're not just playing basketball, they're clawing for minutes against exhaustion.
Indiana Fever's injury bug is getting into spooky territory. It seems like there's a new player every single day that's getting injured. Right now they have Caitlin Clark out, not sure if she will be returning this season. Sid Coulson out with a season-ending ACL tear. Ari McDonald out with a season-ending fracture in her foot. Sophie Cunningham out with a season-ending MCL tear. And then just today, before the game, they announced that Chloe Bibby would be out with a knee injury, and basically they just said it's soreness and they're just...
The patchwork fixes say it all. Shaw Petty arrived midweek and was immediately thrown into rotation minutes. Odyssey Sims, still far from 100%, was forced to manage possessions anyway. Aerial Powers, signed late, was tossed straight into heavy minutes without time to build rhythm or trust. That's not plug and play, it's duct tape and grit. Trying to find flow under those conditions is nearly impossible. Players are introducing themselves in huddles while learning teammates' tendencies on the fly. Meanwhile, opponents like the Lynx don't need a cheat sheet. They spot the seams instantly and press every mismatch.
Did you come into tonight kind of expecting to play darn near the whole game just with the injury situation and the personnel available?
Damn, you played 37 minutes.
I mean, you played a lot too, Kels. What did you play? 35. I mean, yeah, we're down people, so gotta suck it up, play a little tired a few minutes, and take in those timeouts as best we can. But yeah.
Credit where it's due, Kelsey Mitchell never blinked. She battled through traps, carved out space, and piled up 26 points with the kind of shot-making that says, if I have to carry us, I will. But the math of a shorthand roster is unforgiving. When the lineup around you is stitched together out of necessity, even superstar runs eventually hit a ceiling. Head coach Stephanie White called the night physical. That's putting it kindly. This was a trench war fought with a skeleton crew, and Indiana still swung back.
Had 3 players in the last, I don't know how many days, and 2 of those players are point guards, so not really. But, at the same time, our ability to make plays out of what we have, right? I think a lot of our spacing allows players to do what they do best, creates opportunities for them to be successful, and then it's just making the right reads and finding the right pass, on time, on target. And some of that is with experience with your teammates, and some of that is instinct. And so we are trying to do as much as we can to put players in position.
Which is why the officiating meltdown felt like gasoline on an open flame. The sequence was clear, Hull locked in, defending with her usual controlled edge. McBride swung through, her elbow catching Lexi square across the face. Head contact. Defender down. The crowd winced. Textbook stuff, stop play, review it, hold someone accountable. Instead, the whistle went the other way. Hull, the one who absorbed the elbow, was the one tagged with the foul. The Fever bench was stunned. Hull herself snapped into something sharper, jaw clenched, eyes narrowed, that cold, locked-in look that says enough.
They're bringing in on hardship or that they're signing midway through the season, they're now going down with injuries. The season from hell would be an understatement on this team right now.
The review came, but justice only arrived halfway. The refs adjusted the call just enough to admit something went wrong, yet stopped short of holding McBride accountable. It was a quiet concession without the courage to name the culprit. Hull took clear contact to the face, went down, needed time to recover, and somehow Indiana still paid the price. The math of pain and penalty didn't add up. Don't dress it up as a gray area. Call it what it was, a turning point that tilted the floor.
Flush across the face. Contact to the head, defender goes down, crowd winces. Textbook footage for a stop, a review, and accountability. Instead, the officials pinned the foul on Hull. The player who absorbed the elbow became the player punished for it. You could see the shock on the Fever bench. You could see Lexi's anger flash into laser focus. Jaw set, eyes narrowed. That cold look that says,
Fans lit up social media, and for good reason. They've seen this movie too many times. One-off mistakes start to look like a pattern when the calls always tilt the same way. A Fever player hits the hardwood, shoved, shoulder-checked, cleared out with a forearm, and somehow Indiana ends up on the wrong side of the whistle. That's a perception the league should want no part of, the idea that it's open season on this team and officials will just look away. With half the roster already in street clothes, those swallowed whistles don't just swing possessions, they invite more damage.
So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there, but then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Minnesota leaned into physicality, and that's not inherently a crime. Physical play wins in the postseason. But officiating is supposed to be the guardrail that keeps physical from crossing into dangerous. On this night, that guardrail looked optional. Fever guards absorbed contact with no whistle, while bumps the other way drew fouls. Head coach Stephanie White suggested the game was officiated differently. She didn't need to say more, the tape speaks for itself. When the standard shifts based on the jersey color, fans don't see nuance. They see bias.
Time a game happens in the WNBA, somebody's getting abused, somebody getting beaten, somebody is getting hurt, man. Somebody is getting hurt every game in the WNBA, and they just fail to realize this, fail to have any protocols on stopping the nonsense, man.
For Lexi Hull, already playing career-high minutes under career-high pressure, that elbow wasn't just contact, it was disrespect. She's a meticulous defender, a smart cutter, a rhythm shooter who's earned her role by embracing the hard, unglamorous work. To take an elbow, get whistled for it, and then watch the review shrug at reality. That's the kind of moment that hardens resolve. From the sideline, she looked furious. Take the abuse, get told to play through it, and watch officials manage the game while you manage the bruises. If you're Indiana, you're past the point of being polite about it.
Oh my goodness. Boom. Right in the face, man. Right in the face. Now, like I stated, I get it. You might be mad that Lexi put her hand on your forehead. But fam, there is no reason for you to be throwing elbows to somebody's face like that. Come on, man.
And Hull isn't holding back. In her post-game interview, she called directly for better officiating and league accountability. We put our bodies on the line night in and night out, she said, adding that the least the league can do is ensure every player is protected, especially when referees seem to ignore obvious contact. That's why frustration is boiling over. The Fever aren't asking for favors. They're asking for consistency. Call the elbow the same way no matter who takes it. Protect the driving lane the same way no matter who has the ball.
Foul on Lexi Hull. Hits Lexi Hull with an elbow, foul on Lexi Hull. I don't understand.
You'd expect a team missing half its roster to fold early. The Indiana Fever did the opposite. Instead of surrendering, they fought back with grit and defiance. Kelsey Mitchell once again carried the offensive load, pouring in 26 points and answering every Lynx run until fatigue finally wore her down. She was the lifeline in a game where every possession felt like a battle. Without her relentless drives and shot-making, often through contact that bafflingly went uncalled, the Fever would have been buried by halftime. Mitchell's fire kept them within striking distance and set the tone for the rest of the squad to keep swinging.
Bad intentions. Okay? She was trying to wreck some stuff up there doing this one. Hey, let's just keep it a grand, man. Let's just keep it a grand. Kayla McBride was trying to knock Lexi right on her booty cheeks, but she succeeded at, fam. Knocked her clean out. Look at this.